that was given to her, one that she had not anticipated or chosen. From her deep faith and restless readiness, she has been able to formulate a 3-step movement into this new gift. Rest. It is important that Smith's notice of the geese that fly like that was during her sabbatical, when she was taking a break from the pressures of empire. She knew then, and knows now, that without such restful attentiveness, one is not likely to engage such emancipatory reality. This is a good, strong word for those of us who maintain religious busyness in our lives. Receive. The empire requires us to keep taking initiatives, to manage, produce, and generate, but rest puts us in a posture to be on the receiving end of reality that does not start with us and therefore does not depend on us. In a posture of rest, we might receive gifts that are being given by the goodness of God via the wonders of creation. Thus, Smith, for the first time, began to pay attention to the book of nature, that is as revelatory as the book of Scripture. She found all around her wonder, gift, and mystery that have turned out to be buoyant and sustaining. It is therefore not a surprise that Smith finds the mundane of creation to be spirit-filled in its restorative gifts. Respond. When we receive, we then can respond. The response to which Smith finds herself committed is a ministry of healing and reconciliation among her neighbours. That ministry in response, however, does not require or permit that we be self-starters. As a result, in this sequence of rest, receive, respond, there is no risk of burnout or fatigue or excessive managerial burden because the response is enveloped in receptivity. Smith's fresh awareness is that we may become childlike in awe, wonder, innocence, and trust. She observes that an excessive passion to be a knowing, responsible adult serves the empire of control, certitude, and predictability. She is, moreover, acutely aware of the oft-repeated warning that in becoming childlike, we should not become childish. But she knows very well that being childlike has nothing to do with being childish, so she tersely dismisses that warning. And then, in what I think is a brilliant manoeuvre, she observes that in a parallel way being an adult runs the risk of making us adult-ish, that is, overly responsible and obsessed with making everything come out right. She sees that in the empire the risk of becoming adultish is even greater than the risk of being childish. So much for the empire of control. Before I finish, I will comment on 2 terrific images Smith offers. First, she reports that she has learned that God is not some kind of encyclopedia in the sky. Second, she reflects on her old desire to meet with God for a business meeting, only to find that God had in mind a picnic. What a trade-off! The picnic sounds like an echo of the wondrous affirmation of the Westminster Shorter Catechism, that our chief end is to glorify God and enjoy God forever. Smith's book is primarily addressed to her own circle of faith, namely, evangelicals who are too certain about all matters of faith. But I read as a liberal Christian, and her book surely pertains as well to my circle of faith, wherein liberals are filled with their own certitude and bottomless convictions about what is to be done. Indeed, liberal Christians readily assume that we are the real adults in the room. In a rejection of such certitude among evangelical and progressive Christians, Smith invites us all to rest in the Spirit. Smith could have danced all night, and nearly did. It was a dance of tears that turned